Okay, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. I am done with you. I'm done with your behavior. I'm just finished. Okay, I said it 3 times. I am finished with this. Yeah, you, the one in the video, the one looking at me, the one who's trying to kind of walk to the side so maybe I don't see you. I'm talking to you. And let me tell you what I'm done with. You know how you say something really nasty to somebody and they get hurt? And then the word comes back that you were hurt, they were hurt and insulted, and your reaction is, well, if they can't take it, they shouldn't dish it out. If they're so sensitive, maybe they should watch what they say. They should put their big boy pants on and just deal with it. All those types of wonderful things that you say. Well, I'm going to call you out on it. Because it's all a bunch of baloney. It's hogwash. It's completely untrue. You know why? Because inside of you, there's a sensitive, vulnerable human being. And you are doing whatever you can to cover it over so that no one will see it. But I see it. I see it inside of you. You get hurt like anybody else. You're vulnerable like anybody else. But what happens? Somebody says something and boom, immediately that wall comes down. Oh, I'm big and tough. Nothing hurts me. Nothing affects me. And in fact, I'm going to hit you hard because nothing hurts me. No. The reason why you hit so hard is because you get hurt so hard. Because you feel just like the rest of us. You're not made of armor. You don't have some body armor on. You're just like the rest of us. So stop it. Stop it. Stop making believe like you don't get hurt. And stop hurting other people even more. It's time to get over that. And it's okay, because you know what's going to happen. If you acknowledge that you're human like the rest of us, you'll get hurt when people say things. But you won't react strongly. And you know what'll happen? They'll come back to it as well. And you'll sensitize them too. So let's just stop this competition and this nastiness and racking up and this bullying. And it's not just you, by the way. I see this out there all the time. And it's so terrible to see. Not 5-year-olds, not 10-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 70-year-olds. Someone says something and you see in their eyes. The second someone says something hurtful, you see like that deer in the headlights look for a moment, and then boom, the wall comes down and they come out full force, guns blazing. You know why? Because they just got hurt. And they don't feel like they can acknowledge it. Maybe because they got hurt too many times in their childhood. I don't know why. My job's not to figure out why. My job is to tell you, deal with it. Stop reacting that way. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting others. And that's the world we're living in right now. And now's not the time to be doing this. Now you. Yeah, the one who kind of was sitting there calmly because you thought you were going to be spared from my tirade. Well, now it's your turn. You, the one who gets insulted. And when you get insulted, you maybe turn to your friends and say some nasty things about the person who hurt you. Maybe you send a text. Maybe a post on social media. My God, I am shocked at times. Thank God I'm mostly off of Facebook these days. But when I was on Facebook, the comments people would make about their own family, about their friends, shocking, hair-raising. Someone hurt me, boom, I got to go out and attack them because I was hurt. And the only way I can deal with it is say what a jerk that other person is or how terrible they are. Or is that a mom treats their kids? Or I remember a couple of years ago, a woman posting about her mother, how her mother treated her because her mother wasn't nice to her. A grown woman posting about her own mother, not a 10-year-old, not a 15-year-old, a 45-year-old posting this. My goodness, could you imagine that? So why did you get insulted? Why didn't you understand that other person was hurt? Why couldn't you empathize with that other person? You know, Zig Ziglar, the motivational speaker, taught us a great lesson. He said, every obnoxious statement is a cry for help. Why didn't you hear that cry for help? Why did you just stay on the surface and just hear the words that was said? Why didn't you go deeper? Yeah, you should have gone deeper. I want to tell you a story that I heard many years ago. I heard this story probably 30 years ago. And the story was told to me by a woman who works in I don't remember if it's a school or a organization that deals with families of children that are deeply disabled, mentally disabled, severe disabilities. Not just children, adults as well. And she was working there for many years, and she told me a story. She said there was a woman who had a child who was severely disabled, and she'd bring her child in for whatever services it was. And the mom was the nastiest woman in the world, just so abrasive and so hurtful, with such attitude. And this organization was doing what they could to help this child, this adult child, and the mother would just knock them in their teeth. And one day, everyone just hoped this mother would leave as quickly as possible. One day, the mother is there, and the woman telling the story was the only other person there. And the mother says, "Oh, I got to leave now. My car is in the shop. I have a long walk. Is anyone going my direction? Maybe I can get a ride." And this woman says, "Oh my goodness. I'm going in her direction. I can't deny it. I'm going to have to give this nasty, unpleasant woman a ride. I don't want to spend 10 seconds in her presence. I'm going to have to spend 20 minutes with her." But those 20 minutes changed her life, and hopefully will change your life the way they changed mine. The mother started talking about her life, and her severely disabled child was about 30 years old at the time. And she said, "Do you know that before my child was born, I was pregnant, and I went to the dentist, and they had to take x-rays. And the dental technician said to me, 'You're not pregnant, are you?' And back then, we're going back 60 years. 60 years ago, no woman told anyone she was pregnant until she was showing. And she wasn't showing. So she wasn't going to be humiliated and tell some dental technician she's expecting. So she said nothing. They took the x-rays, and that severely damaged the development of this child. This woman has to spend 30 years dealing with the guilt of what she did to her child because she was too embarrassed to say that she was pregnant. In a moment, she suddenly understood this abrasive, nasty woman, and she was able to feel compassion and empathy for this woman. Look at what she has to live with, and of course she is such an angry woman. So the people we deal with on a regular basis, they don't have such dramatic stories, but maybe their children acted out this morning and gave them a hard time when they're trying to get to work. Maybe they got a bad performance review unfairly at work. Maybe something's going wrong financially. Maybe there's an issue in their relationship. Maybe they have a sick member of their family. Something's going on. Hear the hurt. Don't get hurt. Hear the hurt. Hear what's going on the deeper level, and then you can empathize. You know, we live in difficult times. 2 months ago, we were all kind of talking with vague interest and maybe even a little humor about what's going on in Wuhan, in China. And a month ago, we were talking about Italy. Oh, that's the other side of the Atlantic. Nothing to do with us. Well, it's here now. It's in New York. If you know what's going on in New York, in New Jersey, in Washington, California, hair-raising. It's terrifying. Thank God. Things have been slow in Dallas, and may Hashem help, may God help that things will stay slow here, and that things will improve. Things will peak and improve on all parts of the world. Now's the time to get reflective. And I want to tell you something amazing, something incredible that will help motivate you and hopefully change your life. There's a verse in the prophets that talks about God and says God is nosei avon. He lifts up sin. Ve'over al pesha, and he wipes away other types of sins. In other words, he lifts up the sin. When God's weighing our actions, our positive and negative, and there's some negative actions, he weighs it, he lifts it and takes it off the scale. And he also wipes away the sin. Why the redundancy of sin twice? Explains the Talmud that there are 3 words for sin. Chet, avon, pesha. 3 words in the Torah. Chet means to miss the mark. I'm trying to do the right thing and I make a mistake. I mess up. Avon is I veer off the path. Knowingly, I veer off the path of morality, of ethics, of what's right and what's good and what's spiritual. I veer off that path. Pesha is I do it out of spite. Whether I'm angry at God, whether I'm angry at other people, I do this. I want to hurt somebody. I want to hurt the spiritual realm. I want to hurt another human being. And often the people I want to hurt are the people I love most. I want to hurt them. That's the worst type of sin. So the verse says God is nosei avon. He lifts up the sins when we veer off the path. Ve'over al pesha, he wipes away the rebellious sins. Says the Talmud, Lemi nosei avon. To who does God lift up the sins, the mid-level sins of veering off the path? To who does God do that? Lemisha over al pesha. If you could find within your heart to forgive those who've tried to hurt you, who have hurt you knowingly, if you could forgive them, God says, I'll forgive you. Not as much as you are doing, because you have to forgive those who have knowingly, let's say they humiliated you in public, they undermined you at work, whatever it is. If you could forgive them, God says, I'll forgive. You're veering off the path. Says the Gaon of Vilna, one of the great Torah commentaries from a few centuries ago, he says you have to read the wording in the Talmud differently. Lemi over al pesha, to who does God wipe away the worst sins, the sins when you wanted to rebel and hurt against God, against others? To who does God wipe away those worst sins? Lemi shenose avon. If you could find it within yourself to forgive the mid-level sins, when people have hurt you on the mid-level. I want to tell you something. Most people who are out there who have hurt you did not want to hurt you. They did not want to humiliate you. They were thoughtless. They were using you as a way to be the butt of their humor or whatever it might be. But they were not looking to hurt you and destroy you. And if you could find it within your heart to forgive those people, God says, I will forgive the most embarrassing things that you may have done. And yes, you've done some pretty embarrassing things. You've done some things you don't want people to know about. You know how I know that? Because I've done some of them too. And we're human. It's part of being the human condition. Now is the time to get reflective. Reflection is not just for high holidays. It's not just when you're going to Kol Nidre or Ne'ilah on Yom Kippur. Reflection is at any time when you want to make change in your life. And if you make change in your life, and if I make change in my life, God will respond. The Kabbalists teach us that God responds to us. We initiate and He responds. If we could find within ourselves to forgive others, to stop putting up the masks, to stop putting up the body armor, allow ourselves to be hurt and to feel, and then in turn relate to others without the anger, but with humanity and understanding and empathy, God will respond. God will take cues from us. So now is the time to do that. Let's get into action. Let's be powerful. Get into the driver's seat and let's change the state of world affairs. I'll be proud to hear of what it is that you've done. Please let me know.